you may recognize my voice. All right, I'm going to very briefly talk about the ArchivesSpace API for those in the room who aren't really quite sure what it does. All you have to do is remember 6 things. I'm from New Jersey, I talk very fast. It's good for lightning round. Here are the first 3. They are the essentials. We're going to start with number 1. The API gives you the same data, but a different view. We're going to move on to the fact that it lets you work at scale, and then I'm going to mention that it enables applications to communicate directly, but because there are other lightning talks that are actually going to show you that, I'm not going to show it. So the first is same data, different view. Here is the staff interface. If anybody gets that joke without Googling it, I'll buy you a drink of your choice, including water. Awesome. All right, staff interface, data. Public interface, same data, different view. You're used to thinking about this and flipping it back and forth in your brains all the time. But what about this view? That is the exact same information. It's the resource record for the Guybrush Threepwood records, papers, but it's in JSON, and I got it through the API. Same data, different view. Concept number 1. Clicky, clicky. Concept number 2, it lets you work at scale. So, what if you could get every single record of a certain type out of ArchivesSpace at once? Interested? What if you could create records by the dozens, hundreds, thousands? If anybody really wants to test it, try it by the millions. What if you want to modify existing records without having to click, click, click? So this is a GIF of me getting every single resource record out of the Johns Hopkins repository at once. If I have 1,000 finding aids, I'm scrolling through 1,000 finding aids. It took me 4 seconds with a Python script. I really need 4 seconds. What if you could create records by the dozens? I promise you, this is container profiles, and I'm certain of the fact that it says that there's no records. This is a GIF of me creating 15 container profiles. That's real time. That's also supposed to be visible. Well, you can see something happening in real time. Yeah, I believe me too. And then here are my container profiles down the right-hand screen. All told, that probably took 7 seconds, and that includes flipping back to Chrome and hitting refresh. What if you could modify existing records? This is me updating the barcodes of a certain number of records. Again, this is in real time. I see interested faces. Finally, enables applications to communicate directly. I will not demonstrate this, just hold on for another lightning talk. Remember I said 6 things? We're also going to talk about a few concepts. You have to flip the way you think. First, we're going to flip the ice cream switch. If you were to order this, you think of it as one thing. You have ordered a mint and strawberry ice cream cone with some sprinkles. It's one thing to you as the consumer. But for the person who has dispensed this thing to you, it's actually multiple things. That person has to order mint ice cream, strawberry ice cream, an untold number of sprinkles, and ice cream cones. These are not one thing. Flip the switch to thinking of this as multiple things. One thing to multiple things. The same way that you have to flip this switch from thinking of a finding aid as being one thing to thinking of it as a conglomeration of multiple things. I'm actually pausing even though it's a lightning round because that's really important. If you can flip that switch, then the next thing I need you to do is conceive of every one of those things as being its own endpoint, a word I'm not going to define because I don't have the time. Think of, it's the same screenshot as earlier. You've got it. Visual consistency is important. So we're going to flip the switch from thinking of those things as endpoints. Have you ever looked at the address bar while you're in the staff or the public user interface? You've seen a string of information followed by a number. That is that thing's unique identifier. These are endpoints for each of the type of records that was on the screen before. I'm also going to let that sink in. The API works by calling endpoints, by calling all different types of records by their unique place in the repository as reflected by these endpoints. And finally, JSON, which is the thing I showed you earlier, is your new best friend. Of all the things to be intimidated by the API, JSON is not one of them. It's actually quite lightweight and easy to read. I will demonstrate. Here is EAD. Here is JSON. It's actually a little bit more easier to read than EAD. It makes a declarative statement on the left-hand side. We are reading English, so that makes sense. And then we move on to the right-hand side. Title, Guybrush Threepwood Papers. Hopefully you're going to be able to see this. This is a JSON record, and I'm pointing out that things that look very familiar to you archivists. There's the title. There's the call number. It's encoded in those two things. You'll download these slides at some point, I'm sure. Here's the collection level record where it declares level equals collection. Here's the extent statement, which is the sub-record of this parent record. It gives me my numerical 8.75. It gives me my container summary of 7 records and targets. If you've ever wondered how links, this is a scope and content note. It would be much more better if you could see it. But you see a big paragraph of text, and then it says scope and content note at the top. This is part of a notes array. So you'd be able to scroll down and see your ACK info, your access statement, your use statement, your scope and content note. And finally, here are 2 agent records that have been linked to subject records. 1 agent and 1 subject that have been linked. At the top there it says linked agents. It begins an array, and then it gives me 1 reference. Agent/people/380 is the third 380th agent record in the repository, and then the 380th agent record. No, I got that wrong somehow. Something's. Oh, I got it. Okay. It's the same person who's both a creator and a subject. All right. That's it.